For time beyond memory, people have experienced at first hand physical, visual, and auditory events which could not be explained, and so it was feared. Today, we call this the paranormal. Our podcast will delve into this world of the unknown. So sit back and join Tina, Jake, Chris, Bridget, and Bill and journey into the darkness with us. Welcome to Paranormal Researchers Ireland podcast.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 13 of Paranormal Researchers Ireland podcast. And what we've decided to speak about tonight would be superstitions and omens. And again, we're here with Bridget. Bridget got to choose this topic and I thought it was very good for the night that's in it. And Chris and Jake are with us as usual. So here we go.
I just want to, before we kick off, if anyone could see us right now, we're in Bridget's glorious sitting room here, guys, and there's about 15 feet between us all. We're in every corner of the room nearly. But yeah, episode 13. As Tina was saying, they decided to do a bit on superstitions and stuff like that. But our good companion here, Bridget, has done a small bit of research. She has a whole... Looks like
17 pages.
Looks like on the one topic. But we're going to cover, I suppose, Bridget, before we came on there, we're going to cover a bit of Ireland, Irish superstitions and stuff like that.
Yep.
And maybe as we're chatting, we might branch out a little bit. But before we get into it, you did a bit of research there. So what did you come up? What is a superstition, or what did you define it as, or what did you see?
So I always love to understand what the definition of things are and the history of some of the words. So with superstition, it is actually it translates from Latin to superstitio. So I'm not very good with Latin.
Very good.
If anyone else knows Latin, there you go. And it just means stand over. So in our understanding of the words, it would be like standing outside of ordinary logic. So it's outside of logic.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So it was in the Western world, like there was three particular influences that developed superstition. And the first one was Saint Augustine, and that was back in 354 AD. And it was the view that essential characteristic of superstition was excess in one's behaviour. So superstition was a person who was gullible or overzealous in practice. That's basically all that meant. And in 1700s then, it was in Europe, it was decided that it was mostly based on paganism's beliefs, and that they were stubborn in moving on from their own beliefs. And then in St. Thomas in 1225 saw that superstition was a person who uncritically and stubbornly believed things that were not true or that were false. And that's kind of where the idea of superstition came from. So does anyone have examples of superstition that you know or that you do yourselves, or is it something that you believe in? Or
Well, when I was growing up, the old reliable one, which was the magpies. So you'd be standing on the side of the road in Ireland, every second person would be saluting.
yeah,
If it's...
That's right. So if you see one, you salute.
one.
Two, you salute. So 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret that's never to be told. And then...
8 for great, 9 for wine.
No, we used to do
I'm only messing.
8 for a kiss, 9 for a wish. Now, that's
Seriously?
not... Yeah, but it's we made this up.
Oh, right.
Okay.
It's not really... I think it only went to 7.
Yeah.
Then you have to start counting again.
Yeah.
yeah.
Although if you've seen a group of like more than 7 magpies, you probably want to run for your life, to be fair.
Swarm.
Have you ever seen the movie The Birds? Like, let's be honest.
That was mine. What was yours, Chris?
No, I was going to genuinely, that's what I was going to say, the magpie one. And again, the whole salute, if you see one, because it's bad luck if you don't salute.
But then, if you seen it through a window, it didn't count.
Really?
That's what we were told
really?
from the south side. If you seen it from out a window, so if we were on, like when we were kids getting the school bus,
Yeah.
you didn't have to salute and you didn't have to count to
Oh, okay.
Or if you seen it through your house window, you didn't have to salute or counter. Yeah, if you were, if you
Alright.
seen it through a window.
Do you know where that the magpie folklore comes from?
Absolutely not.
So apparently, and I just read this today, I never knew this before, that the magpie was the only bird in the pair that, actually the only bird that refused to get into Noah's Ark in the Bible. And it's
all
sat on,
back to religion.
Yeah.
Everything is
Yeah.
all back to religion.
so it sat on the roof making sound. So it was still on the ship, but it never entered the boat. So it was
Stubborn.
it was stubborn, yeah.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
Here we go again.
But you know what's funny is, although that was what was said, was that everything in Noah's Ark was a pair. So there was a pair of magpies. So what did
Oh,
that
yeah.
mean? Good luck. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
technically was not a bad thing that they stayed outside, because there was still two of them.
There was two of them
Here's a
outside.
question for you, and I want an honest answer. Do you acknowledge a magpie?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'd wave or salute or say hello, or would you?
Yeah. Even if there's 3 or 4 of them, I'd still wave just
Okay.
in
Would
case.
you? Me, no, not anymore.
Not
And
anymore.
actually, Jake would be the youngest here in the group.
Yeah, Jake.
Do you ever do magpies? Like, do you
No.
ever?
No, the only thing when I see a magpie, I think of people doing it.
Yeah, but you don't
But
do
I've
it.
never done it,
It's
no.
interesting.
That's
And
so
I
funny,
have
yeah.
friends who do it and all, but
Really? Yeah.
and I always think like, I think, why do people do that? Like,
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
fuck it.
yeah. Well, I've never done it.
Why did you stop doing it?
I think I forgot about it.
Yeah.
You know, I was too busy.
Yeah. I think when I say I acknowledge it, as in my head, I was
Yeah.
one magpie.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I don't like throw the window down and give it a big salute. And
No.
I
how are you
mean,
getting on top of the morning? Do you know what I mean?
it's funny, if I see in 2 magpies, I'd probably say, oh, I'll have good luck today.
That's
Because,
really funny, yeah.
yeah, so I don't acknowledge any of them, but if I see 2 of them, I'd be like,
Yeah.
that's for luck. So, yeah.
You think the older generation would have believed in it a lot more, or in superstition in general?
100%.
Absolutely, yeah.
Mm.
Like another one that just jumped to my head or into my mind, literally just jumped into it, and was the whole black cat.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's huge. That's still, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it walks across your path, isn't that it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was reading about that as well, and in some instances it's good luck, and then in
Yeah.
other instances it's bad
Bad.
luck. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it depends if it's going from left to right or right to left,
Mm.
like in your direction. So I don't know where that one originates from or how that happened or came about, but
It's a popular
I
one.
still hear it like today. Yeah, you'd still hear it today.
Can I say
Mm.
one more before we move on? Because these are just, remember we said, so guys, for the listeners, we said before we popped on that as we were talking, these will probably all pop into their head, and lo and behold, it is happening.
Happened to me too.
Is it happening? Like
Yeah.
Jake, we can't calm Jake down over there. Walking under a ladder.
Mm.
Oh, for God's sake, sure, I'd forgot about that. I still would think it's bad luck to walk under
Would
a
you?
ladder. Yeah.
So you wouldn't do it?
Well, I mean, he could fall in you as well.
Oh, health and safety.
Health
All
and
right.
safety. but other than health and safety as well, I would go back to my childhood and I would think it's bad luck to walk under a ladder.
Okay.
Would you?
I see. I think, and genuinely, I think we grew up with all this kind of. I think even nowadays, even like you, Jake, you probably heard it when you were younger as well. All that kind of superstitious stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think as well, if you might pass that on to kids, you know, oh, don't walk under a ladder.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't say it to myself, if the ladder was there and it's the only way out, I'm walking under the ladder.
Yes,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Yeah.
But I think everyone grew up with that. And it's the classic as well. Like if you break a mirror, you're gonna have 7 years bad luck. You know what I mean?
Everyone, I don't know if it's just Ireland, but
Yeah.
everyone grew up with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's another big one, touch wood.
Or touch wood,
Knock
that's
on
right.
wood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd hear that a few times a week. Now talking to one of the lads or someone telling a story and
Oh, actually, yeah.
touch wood, it doesn't happen. Like
Oh, yeah.
everyone says that. I say
Touch
that.
wood, yeah, that
Yeah.
doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Because I've actually said that myself, but you don't
Yeah.
realise you're saying it.
No,
Which
that's a
you don't
superstition,
realise,
yeah.
no, it's only when you said it.
Yeah, I actually read about that one, where that one originated as well.
Oh, really?
And apparently it is from like ancient times, when people believed that trees had souls.
Oh, right.
So they'd knock on the
Oh.
tree to get acknowledgement,
Oh, that's very interesting.
or like a blessing from the soul of the tree. And that's where we get knock on wood.
It's
brilliant.
Yeah,
That's
really
interesting.
No,
interesting.
that's really interesting. Yeah.
Didn't know where it came from, but that one is still around big time.
Yeah. And you do it without thinking, like Jake said,
Touch wood.
someone says something, you're like, oh, touch wood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nearly,
You
yeah,
don't
it's
even think
nearly,
about it.
it's nearly ingrained into you, nearly actually,
Yeah.
because it's
Part of our lingo now.
like a reflex, isn't it?
Mm.
I don't know if this is superstition, but it's definitely something that I've heard in the past, that a horse won't cross a fairy's path.
Yeah,
No?
I've heard that as well, and they won't go into a field they won't go into the fairy ring in a field.
Yeah.
Even if they're grazing, they'll graze around it. Like, I
Again.
haven't seen it myself now, but
Yeah, now I don't know if that's, well, probably maybe a little bit of I don't know if that's class of superstition, probably more lore, but there's laws with it out there when you get talking, like it's like the horseshoe on the,
yeah,
Love
don't
it.
hang it upside down because the look will fall out. Yeah.
yeah. So
What's the one with the salt? You throw salt over your shoulder.
is it right your left shoulder?
Yeah, but
It's your left shoulder, and also
But that's
I
no,
figured
but the salt thing. That's if you do something, you throw salt over your shoulder. What do you do
if you
to throw
spill it,
the? Huh?
if you spill salt on your table, if you
Ah.
knock the salt cellar over, you throw the salt over your left shoulder because it's supposed to blind the devil.
Yeah,
That's what they
Is
say.
it?
Yeah.
Looking over your shoulder.
yeah.
Seriously.
Mm.
Before, because again, I know, Bridget, you've done a good bit of research there, but before we're moving on, we've rattled off a fair few there, right?
Mm.
And before we're moving on, I just want to drill down another tiny fraction, if that's all right.
Mm.
So I know you, to be fair to you, Bridget, you did look into the origins and something, but we'll just off the top of our head, the whole walking under the ladder thing, where do you think that came from? I genuinely don't know where this came from. But as we're having a chin wag here, as we say, or a discussion, what do you think, or where do you think that came from?
I think it came from. There was a ladder up on a really narrow
I
road,
knew you were going to make a joke.
and the only way you could go by is walking under the ladder.
Ladder fell on him.
I think this is not going to make any sense, but this is kind of gruesome. But I was just thinking about in ancient times, medieval times, when you
Yeah.
had a chamber pot. And if someone was trying to climb up to empty your chamber pot, it'd fall onto you if you were walking past.
So that would be bad luck.
That would be bad
so
luck.
you don't walk under it.
But it could be absolutely again. Remember years ago, a lot of people their main transportation was horseback.
Yeah.
So that's where the whole a horse won't cross the ferries, but like there could have been a certain part of the road. Oh, the horse is not comfortable here anytime. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that could have been the whole the horse won't cross the ferries path. I'm not saying it is. I genuinely just off the top of my head.
You can try and work out
Yeah.
where they came from, which is what you're doing. Yeah, it
Maybe
makes
dissect it.
sense.
Yeah.
The magpies, as you were saying, Bridget, was the whole like sitting on top of the ark, they wouldn't get in. And why? Actually, no. I was going to ask a kind of an obvious question there. I was going to say that's kind of the main origin of that, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Anyone else have another idea of where that would have came from? Or
No, not the magpie. I just remember because I'm thrown in another superstition because
Yeah.
you can go back on them if you
oh
want.
yeah, yeah,
When I was younger, I grew up in a place called Shankill, County Dublin.
yeah.
And the primary school that I went to, we used to go on our little school tour. It wasn't on a coach and going to Splash World or anything like that, or Blanchardstown. It was going for a walk up the back roads in Shankill. And a place we used to go to was called Puck's Castle.
Oh yeah.
And it was a little castle, but it was like just a tower, like a
Yeah.
smoke tower. And they said if you hopped around it 3 times backwards, and you'd see the devil. And that was a huge superstition at the time. So like 9, 10, 11 years old, we'd all be there hopping backwards.
Did you do it? You done it?
Round. Huh?
Did you do it?
Yeah.
Did you?
See the devil?
Yeah.
Of course I did. I wouldn't do it and not see
Would
the
you?
devil.
Honest question, would you call that a superstition?
Well, in
Kinda
our
like-
area.
Kind of like Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
look into the mirror, and what would that be called?
It's more like, yeah, I know exactly what you're trying to say.
What would
It's
it be called?
Like
A legend.
It's nearly like a legend.
The legend.
Legend or a ritual, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
Could be an
legend.
omen either, because omens are defined as an event regarded as a good or evil thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe it's an omen or a tradition.
One of the most famous ones that pops into my head straight away is the Mat Man.
The Not Man.
Bridget, that's, you see, you're so far away you can't hear me.
She's on the West
Mothman.
Wing.
The
The
Moth Man.
Mothman.
That makes more sense.
Point Pleasant. Again, my sincerest apologies. I can't think off the top of my head because I didn't realise we were going down this route. But it was the 1950s or 60s, I think it was. And this creature was witnessed by a couple of the residents over a couple of nights.
A couple of teenagers out in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then one of the bridges collapsed. But they reckon that the Mothman, so to speak, was an omen that kind of predicted this catastrophe. But
Oh, that's right.
and there was a story that was associated with Chernobyl as well. There was meant to be a
there was,
Mothman associated with that as well.
So that
There's
would
actually
be
a statue in the
There is
in the
that,
town, like
and you can actually do a live feed.
10 foot tall.
Yeah.
what town?
Point Pleasant.
Point Pleasant.
Oh, of the Mothman.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there's a
yeah.
live
It's in the
feed.
town, like,
If you went
yeah.
on the Google right now, you can live feed it.
So it's a big thing, like.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
it's
That would be
huge.
that would be
Never heard
an urban legend or a legend.
It would be,
Yeah.
it'd be more of an urban legend, but the omen side of it
Yeah.
was that.
Yeah.
Like, it was an omen of doom.
Evil. Yeah.
And probably one of the most famous ones in Ireland is the Banshee,
Oh, yeah.
like an omen of death. Anyway, sorry, Bridget.
Speaking of the Banshee, actually, another superstition is the comb on the ground.
Yeah,
That if you see a comb when you're walking, that you never pick it up because the Banshee will come looking for you to get the comb back. So that's another one that's really old, actually.
Chris wouldn't pick up the comb anyway.
I actually
He's no hair.
I actually
He'd
know.
walk by it.
What did you say? No hair. I do on my face. I actually know a really good book based on the Banshee that you can all check out.
Oh, I wonder who wrote that.
Anyway,
Moving quickly
moving
along.
on.
I also get the plug in. But so the comb on the ground is would you pick a comb up off the ground?
Oh God, no, that's manky.
If it was brand spanking new,
It's still on the ground. You wouldn't know
Yeah.
whose.
you'd leave it there. And for that reason, you'd leave it there. Like, not one thought of the Banshee could cross your mind.
I have to say, maybe when I was a kid. Now,
Yeah.
no, like not one thought of the Banshee. So that one hasn't affected me
Yeah.
whatsoever because it doesn't.
Yeah.
Would you,
Bridget?
Bridget? Other
No.
than the dirt? Would
No,
you pick
definitely
it up?
not. No,
Would it be the Banshee?
that would be what I think of straight away.
That's
Banshee,
brilliant.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's brilliant.
Really,
like,
Bridget?
Yeah, it's only because
Fair play.
my mother saw the Banshee when she was a child, and that's all I think about
yeah.
Well,
is when.
Now that you said that, Bridget, would you mind? Because obviously, you want to tell that story? Is it? This is, by the way, guys listening in. This is very what's the word? Off topic. But no, do you want to tell the
On
story?
the spot.
On the spot, yeah.
So I'm definitely going to get this wrong, but I'll give you my version of it.
Moving on. No, I'm only messing. Go ahead, Bridget.
So so my mother was in the doorway of their old house. So they used to live in a housing estate in Tullow, and she came out to the door and she ended up like seeing the Banshee at the end of her house. So they have a garden and then the railing, and she saw the Banshee at the end of the house, and she said that she heard it sobbing. And I asked her what did it sound like, and she said, "Did you ever hear a cat squealing in the middle of the night?" And she said it's really the very same as that, but it makes you cold to the core, like. And it went straight through her. But not long after that, actually, I think my father's father passed away.
Oh.
So it wasn't even linked to her, and we don't have the name. Like even my mother's maiden name is not linked to
Yeah.
the names that are associated with the Banshee. But
Mm.
she believes 100% that she saw it.
But then, in fairness, loads of people that we would have heard from
Yeah.
have thought to have seen the Banshee. They don't have those names either. So I
Yeah.
don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, is that
Yeah.
could be a myth that it's linked to a name,
Yeah.
but a lot of people
The-
believe it.
All these things are, I think, like as you say, myths, legends, lore, superstitions, all that kind of stuff.
They're all added to.
It's very like they each have their own uniqueness, but it's very close. Like sometimes it's very hard to dissect, in my opinion. Now some of them are easy to, like, you kind of go, oh, the magpie scenario, that's superstition. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
But there's others where it kind of blurs the lines a little bit, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What other superstitions had you looked up there, Bridget?
Chris, real quick,
Sorry, yeah.
where did the Banshee come from?
Keen. Well, they say one of the sources was Keeners, back in the day, high-paid families used to pay women to come and cry at the funeral. These women would have absolutely nothing to do with the person that
Was the
passed
banshee
away.
not around before?
I'm not sure. You see, people say it's fairy folk as well. Like she's a fairy. Banside, I think, is now again very off topic. As you can tell, I've redone my research.
Spelled like that, is it? BEANS.
SIDHE. I think that's woman fairy. I think. You think I would know all this off the top of my head? Well, it was 8 years ago when I wrote the book now. But anyway, and that's where people say as well, she's from the fairy realm as well as an omen of death. And if you see her, it's someone that's close to you
Is going to
pass away. She can appear as a beautiful young woman,
yes.
combing her hair, or an all withered hag. And interestingly enough, did your mother say what she looked like or anything?
Young or
Bridget?
old.
She said that she had really long hair and that she
Yeah.
was combing it.
Really?
But I can't remember if she said she was young or old.
Yeah.
I can't remember that.
Okay. But like, there's a couple of, like, you could literally Google that there now, and I could be completely contradicted. But which is off. Listen, that's the whole point of a podcast. It's all about having a conversation. But those keeners are the fairy realm.
Now we can. That was just interesting. It just popped into my head there real quick because we were saying where everything came from. So I thought the banshee would just be interesting.
I hope, Jesus, don't put the pressure on me like that ever again, Tina, please. Speaking on that, and I know, Bridget, I'm going to come back to you in a second. I just want to highlight the 3 knocks. Wasn't there something about 3 knocks on the door as well, if I remember correctly?
About the banshee, or just
about impending doom or something like that.
So 3 knocks usually represents a death in the home.
Yeah.
And generally it's if when the soul leaves the body, then there'll be another 3 knocks, and that means that they're ready to collect the soul.
Yeah.
In some instances, they say that it's family members coming back to collect the soul and bring them with them.
Right.
But other than that, I wouldn't have heard anything else about 3 knocks other than that it's in preparation for a soul.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I didn't know about the 3 knocks.
Yeah.
So that's just if you're in your house at night and you 3 knocks on the window or the door or something like that.
Yeah.
Isn't some kind of impending doom, really, isn't it?
Yeah, it's probably an omen as well. Omen.
I was going to say, wouldn't that be an omen?
Yeah.
So moving on, Bridget, what other little things did you come up with?
So I actually categorised them. So if you want to stick with the birds for a minute.
Oh, okay.
So the birds.
When we're younger and a bird pooed on our tops or our heads or whatever, that's supposed to be good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah,
Yes.
good luck. I think it's just an excuse so that you don't give out about
I
someone.
know.
But another one was robins. So have you heard any tradition or superstitions around robins?
What I would have always heard about robins is it's a loved one come back to you.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
If you kill a robin, you'll never have good luck again.
Oh,
Did you
really?
hear that one?
Oh, that could link to what I read about it. So apparently robins were around when Christ was being crucified, and they tried to remove the thorns from his head, and in the process then they got blood on their chest, and that's what the red is. Apparently it's the blood of Christ.
I please say something,
Yeah.
because you're after remind me saying that story. This is going to sound so weird. Donkeys. You ever see the cross on the donkey's back?
Yeah.
You ever see that?
The dorsal stripe.
Tina's
No.
not. You've never. Every donkey, apparently, every donkey that you look at will have a cross. on
What
its
is
back.
it, Bridget?
It's called a dorsal stripe, but I know where Chris is going with
Yeah.
it.
You do?
Yeah.
You can take this, Bridget.
So is that because they carried
Yeah.
Christ and Mary and
going to Bethlehem. Yeah.
the Christ, the cross was put on them. But
Interesting.
they all have a cross on them. Yeah.
That's an interesting. So
You
every
know that, Jake?
No.
Neither did I.
every donkey that you do. So all the listeners there now.
Go check your donkey.
Well, and like it's always something that's in the, like, say if you like, geez, you randomly see a donkey, you're feeding, you know.
Yeah.
I'll always look at their back, and you'll see the dark stripe going down the spine of his back, so to speak,
and across the shoulder.
and across the shoulders. There's a cross on their back. Yeah.
I love donkeys.
Now you like them even more.
Well, I don't know because of that. But
I think as well I heard, because I know I think a banshee, the other, or because I know it's just popping into the back of my head while I'm Googling in the background as well. I think it was meant to be a disembodied spirit of a woman that was murdered as well. I think that was another
Banshee?
source. Yeah.
Like what woman?
Any. I just said that on the top of my head there. I don't know what woman.
Chris, as Bridget was speaking, Chris was over there Googling.
And Keeners apparently accepted alcohol as payment as well.
Well, as you should.
Yeah.
It's Ireland.
Well, listen, whatever.
Whiskey.
Well, sorry, Bridget, what were...
So we'll go to food. So you've already spoke about the salt. So spilling salt on a table is bad luck, and then you remove the bad luck by throwing it over the left shoulder.
Right.
And again, so you can blind the devil. But another thing was, and I never knew this, bread. So when you used to bake bread soda, or soda bread, sorry.
Yeah.
Everyone draws a cross on it. Do you know when you'll see it when it's fully cooked and everything, that it's divided into 4 sections? But that was because it was trying to let the devil out of it, of the bread. Like, I've never heard this before.
Never
so
heard
it keeps the devil out, or it lets him out of the actual bread itself. How
That's
he got
mad.
in there in the first place, I have no idea.
Did you bake the devil? Like,
Well, that's me and bread done now.
But, unless you have the cross, your grand there's a cross on. Yeah.
yeah.
So any bread that doesn't have the cross
Yeah, apparently.
has the
No.
devil inside.
So you're eating the body of.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Terrifying.
No more tuna and sweet corn and cheese and red onion rolls for me. No more chicken fillet rolls, please.
Curse of God.
Curse of God.
There's
Curse
another
of
one.
God.
Curse of God.
Yeah.
Is that a superstition?
I don't know if that's a superstition or a power for it. Anyway, Bridget, so the devil was trapped
In a
inside the
loaf.
bread.
It keeps the devil out, or lets him
Lets him out.
Yeah.
The devil must like bread as a kind of main course. But John aside, was there anything else on that? They didn't go into any more.
No, that was literally it. It was just explained why the cross would be. And then another one is, if you know, in a bread basket or anything, it's if you take the last piece of bread, you'll be left on the shelf, which means that
You're not
nobody
going to
will,
get married.
no one will want you. Yeah. Like, what if you're hungry? Like,
There's one.
Oh, that's gas.
Tina, you reminded me, and you did as well, Bridget, as you were talking, you left on the shelf. The whole throwing the bouquet of flowers at weddings. Is that a superstition?
that is a superstition, isn't it?
And what? So, superstition, and if it lands on the ground, no one gets it?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I guess
literally.
nobody is.
Well, actually, if it lands on the ground, it doesn't mean nobody gets it. If it lands on the ground, it just means it's like rugby. It's like a scrum.
Oh, scrum, yeah. And whoever
They
comes out
all
on top.
hop on it. All the single ladies just.
What other food ones you got, Bridget?
I'll just talk about the salt one again. I actually, so some people think the superstition came from the Romans,
Right.
where the slaves were traded for salt.
Oh.
There was also an overturned salt cellar in front of Judas at the Last Supper.
Right.
That's where the salt, all the salt things come from. So if you spill salt, or if it's knocked
Interesting.
over, so that's another one connected to religion. With Judas. Then I have body parts as the next heading, and it's like if your left hand is itchy,
Money.
you get money.
Yes.
If your right hand is itchy, you meet a stranger.
Right.
If your left ear is hot, someone's talking good about you, and if your right ear is hot, it means the opposite, so someone's talking bad about you.
I've heard that,
Yeah.
Itchy nose is a sign of an upcoming fight.
Yeah.
If you hear ringing in your right ear, the souls of purgatory are calling for your prayers.
Well, do you know something? I've had a ringing in my right ear for years. And I'm not actually messing.
And do you know another one? It just popped into my head. Did you ever hear this? If you bang your funny bone.
Oh,
No, I never heard that.
Have you not? Have you
No.
ever heard that one, Jake?
I've done it.
So if you bang your funny bone, you bang your elbow, and it's so painful, and then like my mother or whatever used to say to me, bang your other one for good luck.
Oh, no
Really?
way.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
I've never
yeah. So
heard
if you
that.
banged your funny bone, you'd always have to bang the other, and I did that for years.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the ringing in the ear, I generally, because it's from previous activities.
So Chris is there. Let's get back to the ringing in the ear, because I've had that.
I'm kind of worried now. No, I'm only messing. But you know, genuinely I haven't had it for years, but that's a superstition. That
Yeah.
is, what was it? The
The souls of purgatory are,
Just can't get over
begging
it.
you to
Look at
pray
them.
for them.
So you have to pray.
yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
That's not good. Isn't there not, Jake?
Mm-mm.
Uh-huh.
Nothing to worry about.
I don't know. Jake always has to come in with some.
I'll just let you know, just reassuring you.
So right, left hand was what, Bridget?
Left hand
Money.
was money and right hand was to
Meet a stranger. Left ear was something's good talked about
Talking
you.
about
Good,
you.
and then right is bad.
Where do you think that came from?
Well, you get a smack in your left ear, somebody, or right ear, somebody's talking bad about you, they're giving you a smack. Don't know.
Was there, and this could be completely going left when you should be going right at the crossroads now. What shoulder was the angel meant to sit on side, and what shoulder was the devil meant to sit? Does that make any sense?
The angel sits on the left and
Yeah,
the devil
I'm
sits
not
on the
sure.
right.
Was that
Yeah,
it? Am I
That would
just-
actually make sense if it was
Did you throw shoulder, or did you throw salt over your right shoulder?
your left.
Or left?
Yeah, interesting. No, it's just genuinely something randomly that popped into my head. Any other body parts, Bridget?
No,
Any other body parts, Bridget?
not so far.
What do you expect me to
Mhm.
ask? What do you expect me to ask?
The next one I have is numbers, so I'd say you know a lot of this.
Oh, the big.
Yeah, so
Okay.
the big and obvious one is 13.
Why is that obvious?
Friday the 13th. It's supposed to be a terrible day for everybody. Ryanair airplanes don't have a row 13, so that's how
Exactly.
much the superstition actually carries.
Neither do Air France.
Oh, there's lots of them, and actually there's lots of buildings, high-rise buildings that don't
With
have a
no
floor
Mm,
13.
floor.
Skip a 13.
Parking
Yeah.
spaces.
Yeah.
Ships,
Yeah.
13 decks. The
And-
ships don't have 13 decks.
Do you have any idea where the phobia around the number 13 comes
There's
from?
a lot of different ones from different parts of the world.
Yeah. I thought she was going to say where the number 13 comes from. I was going to say probably an abacus back a couple
Kaboom.
thousand years ago.
Greece.
The phobia thing is, as Jack said, there's loads of different kind of, well, not laws,
But it goes back to the Bible again,
it
doesn't
goes
it?
back to laws.
Like, just for example, like, do you know Loki? What was he? He was a
The god.
god.
Yeah.
There's one where it says
God of mischief.
12 gods were sitting having a feast, and then Loki, the god of mischief, showed up as the 13th guest,
Yeah.
and it ended in death.
Yeah.
And that's one. And I know in some Spanish speaking countries it's Tuesday the 13th.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw that as well.
Okay.
And then there
And
was
then the one about the 13 in the Christianity, the 13 was it?
The Last Supper.
Yeah, the Last
the
Supper.
apostles.
Because there's 12
If there's
apostles.
if there's a meal with 13 people, it'll always end in death or something within
Yeah.
a year or something like that. Yeah.
With your research, Bridget, where did you drill down into?
It was the religion one. The Last Supper was the one that I saw repeated the most. About Jesus and the 12 apostles and how it ended with him being arrested and crucified. So that's where the number 13 comes from. The fear of it.
Yeah, that's and then wasn't the whole Friday the 13th then, I think if I remember right, was the Knights Templar.
Yeah.
They were either eradicated on that day or the order to eradicate
No,
them.
they were eradicated.
Was it
that
the
day,
yeah, on Friday the 13th, and that's where the whole that point scenario kind of
Sure, there's still a Knights Templar to this day.
who are they?
Probably just. I don't want to curse now, but probably just fellas who think a bit much of themselves.
It's a secret.
You know
You can't
yourself.
tell. There
No.
is 13 steps up to a hangman's noose.
Really?
Yeah. That's what I read today as well.
I genuinely
Yeah.
100% didn't know that.
I didn't know
No,
that till today.
I
There's-
didn't know that either.
Yeah, 13 steps up to a hangman's noose and then one quick step down.
Mhm.
That's
So
it.
So what do you? We have to talk about, because we are talking about superstition. 13 is probably the one that everyone's going to probably. Well, a lot of people probably recognise a lot of the stuff we've talked about, but 13 is probably one of the bigger ones.
Mm.
Where, like, I know we've talked about where it came from, but your own opinion on it. Do you pay any attention to it? So going around the room, I'm going to start with Bridget. I seen you nodding side to side there,
No, I don't.
or shaking from side to side.
Yeah.
Nodding's up and down, isn't it?
No, I don't. I don't really have much superstition around numbers.
Okay.
Not really.
So it would not bother you whatsoever?
No, not at all.
Okay. Tina,
Yeah, I probably would take a little bit of notice at 13
why is that?
because it's been all my life.
Okay.
It's been, 13, unlucky, but I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, I like doing an owl investigation up the Hellfire Club now on it.
Friday
Friday the 13th.
But you would be kind of wary of it.
I'd be aware of it, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Jake?
No, I wouldn't change anything. Or
Yeah.
I've always been
Okay.
aware of it, obviously, but like I've known people to cancel plans or
Seriously,
not
really?
go for long drives on that day. Or
Okay.
it's
So it goes to show you it's still ingrained.
Yeah,
in-
What
oh,
about
definitely
you?
is.
Yeah.
Definitely is.
Me, it's like I said it earlier, with any of these, it is in your head.
Yeah,
Like
same.
it's going to be in your head, for even if you don't want it to be, it's going to be there. But would I change plans? Absolutely not. Like I wouldn't. And again, this is absolutely no disrespect to anyone that does, but me personally, I wouldn't change because I don't see it as a. It's just another, like Friday the 13th.
Another
It's
day.
just another day. Like I wouldn't be cancelling flights or anything at all like that. And again, as I said, not disrespecting anyone that does or anything at all like that. But 13, it's like all of them.
It's another number.
Yeah, and it's going to be in your head. You know what I mean? Anything else there, Bridget?
So other numbers like 666.
Oh, right.
Oh, everyone kind of knows that one.
No, I'll go into it there.
Well, no, I actually didn't research that. I just
Oh,
wrote
really?
it down. So I think you know more about that. But apparently,
What you're trying to imply there, Bridget?
the can of Monster has that written on it, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in a certain, the scratch marks
Yeah.
is meant to be some kind of symbol or something like that. When
It's
it's meant
in some language.
yeah, and it's meant to say,
6 is
they really went,
the symbol is just a straight line with a bit of a
yeah,
tick at the top of it.
yeah,
And obviously then on the can it's 666.
yeah.
Apparently.
Apparently, I love that word, apparently. Other numbers, Bridget?
4 is a big one in Asian countries because 4 sounds like the word they use for death.
Really?
Yeah, there was a few of them as well. 9 is a number in Japanese because that sounds like suffering. And 17 is prominent in Italian culture, but I didn't actually read into that anymore. Does anyone have any idea? 17, have you heard about that one?
Never even
No.
heard of it.
No.
Yeah, I didn't get to look into that one with my 72 pages of further research.
72 is super. No.
72 is a good number.
Isn't it mad though the numbers are so prominent?
Yeah, but sure, even if you want to look at the other side of superstition, like the 4 2s is like an angel number. 1111 is also for good luck.
Yeah.
And the one I always see is 1 2 3 4. Have no idea. Do you know 1234?
Yeah.
I see that almost every day. I'm sure I look at my phone so often that it just is a probability.
Well,
Keeps
like it
going
does
up.
happen.
Yeah.
It does happen twice a day, I suppose.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I have 24-hour clock on my phone.
Oh, touche. So it happens once a day for you.
Once a day.
Okay. Okay.
Girl, Bridget.
Well, I just run through another few that I have read that were really prominent for me in my
Oh,
childhood
no,
as well.
absolutely, of
Yeah.
course.
So skipping cracks on the path
Oh,
when you're walking, so you don't ever walk on the lines.
Did you ever hear of that one?
I heard. I don't think of. Did we talked about that? Did Billy say that or something last week? Maybe not.
I
can't remember.
swear to God, you can carry on, but the
Yeah.
cracks on the path,
Yeah.
I think I did. No,
we'd jump over them because
Yeah.
the devil would pull you down.
Yeah,
You'd go
that's
down.
what
the
I
devil
did.
would pull you
Yeah,
down.
it's always to do with the devil, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
mad. Like,
For
yeah,
years, I
Yeah.
wouldn't stand on a crack. It was nearly like obsessive,
yeah.
Really?
compulsive. Yeah, I couldn't. Even when I'm an adult,
Even sometimes now I don't.
But
Yeah.
still,
Is that why you're falling so much? Little team joke there, guys. Tina falls everywhere she goes. Anyway, sorry, Bridget. What's the next one?
The one that I was when I was young was stand on a crack and break your mother's back or something.
Yeah,
I've heard that.
that's
actually,
more
yeah.
recent. Yeah,
never heard of that one.
yeah. No, Debbie would say that one all the time.
I think I have heard that one.
Would she?
Yeah,
I'm fairly good at not
Yeah.
stepping on cracks, haven't I? Mother.
Mother.
maybe that's why Tina keeps falling.
Jake's jumping on the cracks.
Dancing all over the cracks.
What's another one, Bridget?
So colours. The one that came up was green. in Ireland, and believe it or not, that's the colour of Ireland. Is green is our
So that's meant to be good or bad?
It's considered to be unlucky.
Unlucky.
Yeah, because
never
the
heard
superstition comes from folklore about fairies, and fairies used to wear green.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, a lot of our folklore is about fairies, so I'd say a lot of our superstitions come from that kind of area. So clothes would be accidentally putting your clothes or your socks or anything is considered, and inside out is considered good luck.
Yes, heard
so
of that one.
If you do it, then you're supposed to leave it like that for the day. The trees, we already spoke about the knock on wood. Don't go near a hawthorn tree or fairy fort.
That's a big one.
That was really, really bred into us as children.
Fairy forts, we've talked about them
Yeah.
multiple times.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
just
everyone knows. Yeah.
and even farmers would avoid cutting hedges and stuff that
100%,
have
yeah.
hawthorn in it. So
Yeah.
it's
A lot of
really,
farmers
really
put fences around the
them,
fairy
yeah.
forts, so they just don't go near them.
Yeah. 4-leaf clovers for good luck. Fairy trees, which are lone trees standing in a field. And it's bad luck if you damage or try to take the tree down.
Like detrimental.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
It's really bad because it's associated with fairies. But yeah, you can really notice them because they're just literally a huge tree standing on their
On its
own, which is really unusual as well. Pick a flower on May Eve, which is the last day of April. The fairies will come and take you away with them.
Never heard of that one.
No, I never heard of that. That was one I just read today as well. And then we talked about black cats. Are they associated with witches? Do they bring bad luck? But apparently in Ireland, it's lucky to see black cats as long as they cross from your path from left to right.
Never heard from left to right. I just was always told when I was a kid, now not by my parents or anything, us in a little group, if a black cat crosses your path, it was bad luck.
Yeah.
Never was told about the good.
Yeah, so that's the two versions of that. Then you have good luck and then bad luck. I read this as well. Black cats on ships were terribly unlucky. If they walked onto the ship and then off again, the ship would sink. So that was obviously in a lot ancient times. And if you see a black cat, you will be lucky. Okay, I have that on it. Next one then I did was funerals. And do you know any superstitions around funerals?
No, I actually don't.
You probably will when I say it.
Yeah,
Probably when you
That's what I
start
was going to
Yeah.
say.
So rain at a funeral is a good thing. It's believed that the soul is rested or happy if it rains on their funeral day or rains on the coffin. This is what it said actually. It was like the rain was the heavens washing away grief and sorrow. So that's a very old.
It's actually nice
superstition,
because
yeah.
in Ireland, it's always rain.
Yeah.
So that would be a nice thought to have,
And
for people.
yeah, it made me think of a phrase that I've heard so many times. It's like, happy is the corpse that the rain falls on, and happy is the bride that the sun shines on.
Never heard.
Yeah, so that's a superstition as well, is sunshine on a wedding day.
Oh, can I add something in?
Yeah.
In Ireland, would this be superstition? The Child of Prague, you put it on your windowsill
That's another
before
superstition.
weddings.
Yeah.
Did you hear that?
For good weather.
Yeah, Chris is looking very weird there. Did you hear about that one?
I think I did actually
Yeah,
genuinely
did
hear
you,
that.
Jake?
Yeah.
No.
Child of Prague, you put it on your windowsill.
Well-
Like my mother would have done that when the kids were getting married, and
Yeah.
it helps. It says it gives you good weather on the day of the wedding.
I've heard something definitely about that. Well, I'm not sure if it was wedding or something, but there's something as well. This could be totally not. Isn't it Saint Christopher or something? Helps you find stuff.
Yes.
Isn't that the medal or
Yes.
a medal or something like that?
Yeah,
Again,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
only
You ask Saint Christopher to help you find something when you lose it.
Another thing at the funeral was if you count cars at a funeral,
Saint
bad
Anthony.
luck will befall you.
That's Saint Anthony.
Yeah, sorry, just.
Oh,
Yeah.
very good. Thanks, Jay.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Listen,
Yeah.
Again,
Actually, that
Mando.
makes sense, yeah.
again,
Sorry,
I'm
say
not
that
off the
again,
top of my head.
Bridget.
I'm just going back to the funeral one. Is if you count cars at a funeral, bad luck will fall on you. Or if a wedding party meets at a funeral after their marriage ceremony, they will have bad luck.
Oh, jeez, imagine
Yeah.
a wedding at a funeral
Oh.
bumping into each other.
Is this, or did I see this in a film? When we're talking about weddings, the groom carrying the bride over the threshold, Isn't that meant to be something to stop the bad things getting to her or something? Like, now, this could be me literally after seeing this in a film somewhere.
No, I've never heard of that, but
I know
it
they
could
carry
be.
them over the
Yeah,
threshold. I think
could
the
be.
bride carries the groom.
Well, who's to say they can't or don't? But I think there was some. I think I seen
But I
that.
didn't know
24,
why.
Chris.
As well.
2024.
Absolutely.
It's 20,
Um,
exactly.
I'm not saying. I beg your pardon. I'm not saying nothing. But yeah, the whole thing wasn't to stop something
I
reaching
never
up
knew
and grabbing
why.
the bride or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, I've
Maybe I've
never
just seen that in a
heard of
film. Maybe.
And can I ask you about one?
Yeah.
What's the superstition in Ireland about wearing the odd socks?
Oh, that's just a superstition that comes from sport. Unfortunately,
A sport, is it?
yeah. It's called a psychological bias. Actually, that's what that is. It makes you think that you're going to perform if you keep the same routine in a sporting environment or anything like.
Well, my daughter, who is 12, only wears odd socks.
Yeah,
She won't wear matching socks at
Yeah.
all.
Really?
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
She just won't wear them. Like
She's
she'll go
got
out of her
taste.
way to take the two matching apart and put two odd ones together.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
She
It's just lucky for her
actively
then.
looks, yeah.
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 So will we go to weddings then? So you said a few of them. So the old saying is something old, something new, something barred, something blue.
Yeah.
So
That's
apparently,
a big tradition.
yeah. So if you do all of those things, then you'll have a happy marriage.
Yeah.
You have horseshoes tied to the wedding car, and if not horseshoes, then sometimes you'll have old boots tied to them. You're not allowed to see the bride or groom. They're not allowed to see each other before the wedding day, or it's apparently bad luck.
That's meant to be very bad luck.
Yeah, and then rain on your wedding day is a bad thing. So that's what the phrase I was saying earlier is sunshine on the wedding, happy.
Yeah.
You'll have a happy life. So do you know any more traditions around house? Like, so I'll just say one. So one of them is like opening an umbrella in the house is bad luck.
Oh,
Very
bad luck.
luck.
Shoes on the table.
Shoes on
Bad
the
luck,
table, and
yes.
apparently on the bed as well.
On the bed, okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Or
Breaking the
new
mirror.
shoes on a table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me mother
Yeah.
would throw it at you.
Would
Like
you?
Yeah.
if you put new shoes on, that'd be very bad luck. You get one in the head.
And Jake said it already about the mirror. Apparently it's
The mirror's bad luck.
yeah, and a looking glass as well. Like that was another one that was written with the mirror. But we don't use them anymore.
No.
Dropping cutlery on the floor. If it's a fork, it's a woman is going to visit your house. A knife is a man is going to visit your house, and a spoon is a child. I had never heard of that one now.
Is that a dessert spoon or a...
A small baby spoon.
Oh, baby's okay.
Never heard of them either.
Oh, if it's a can opener.
Yeah.
Spatula. Ladle.
Wooden spoon.
Yeah, like some of these.
Whisk.
Who would it be if a whisk was coming? Come on, who would it be? Who would it
Tornado. Oh, this is why I love this podcast. Anyway, Bridget, apologies. Back to you.
be? Sorry, Bridget. Sorry. Our concentration is shy.
Another one for around the home.
Must be Santa on the way or something.
What?
Santa on the way or something.
Yeah. No, sorry. Go ahead, Bridget.
If a person walks in one door, they have to leave through that door as well, or they'll take all the look of the house with them. So in one door,
Mad.
out the same door.
Usually you
Out you
say
go.
in one door, out the other. But not here.
No.
In one door, out the same door.
Yeah, and you have to burn a candle in your window throughout Christmas, and you'll have burn a candle in your window throughout Christmas, and you'll have good luck for the year.
A fire.
Yeah, have a fire. Yeah.
I've actually got the one with hanging cloths over mirrors when there's thunder and lightning.
Oh,
or
my
at a
mother,
funeral.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, at a funeral as well,
Yeah.
was it?
Yeah.
Okay. My
Uh,
nan still talks about that.
So my
Putting-
mum, yeah,
Yeah, I'm plugging out no, I don't know,
Electrics.
plugging out all
and
electrics. and all.
closing all the curtains in the house. When I was a kid, my mother, there'd be thunder and it'd be like, oh Jesus, and it'd be like covering the mirrors, closing the curtains, because if it gets in,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, you'll all be dead.
I'll go to the next one then. Is just a friendship. It's about friendship. So if you give a friend something sharp, it means that you're going to cut or end their friendship. Like I'd never
Oh.
heard that before. It's
And
just
I would regularly give knives as presents. like fake knives.
That's why you've no
I was
friends.
going to say, but I haven't got any friends.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, lads. Do you know any more about friendships or?
No, we don't
I
have
don't know.
friends now.
I don't know what she said that. Do you love any more? Or do you what? Do you know any more about friendships? Whoa, Bridget, thanks for making us all feel terrible.
Do you love anymore? What are you thinking about, Chris? Any
Well, that's thanks for tuning in.
any final thoughts, Chris? We're hitting around the mark, or Bridget?
Do you have any more? You just want to quick ones before we?
The last few, I'll just read through them real quickly, is in relation to boats. So these are obviously created at a time where everyone used to use the ships. So red-headed women have traditionally been considered to be bad luck on a boat.
I've seen that in a movie.
God,
Yeah,
they're bad
so
luck.
I
did
wouldn't
actually
be
see that
allowed on
in a
them.
movie.
Changing the name of the boat is bad luck. And in some coastal communities, blowing out a candle meant that a sailor somewhere at sea would die.
It's mad.
So instead of blowing out their candles, they used to just let the candles blow down and die naturally.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it, literally it. That's all I have on that.
And one last thing, smashing the bottle off a ship. Don't want to
Christened
Yeah.
it.
to christen the
Yeah.
ship.
Yeah.
That's I'm assuming that's for good luck.
Yeah.
I think it is,
Do you know
yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
People are coming along, oh no, smash. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was I tell you, that was actually a really interesting one, because remember we were saying, we always say this, and we won't have much to talk about when you actually start chatting about it.
Yeah.
Some, even all of us
Go
came up
on
with.
and on.
So if, I suppose getting into the final aspect of it, Bridget, what's your thoughts on superstitions overall?
I think that it's interesting for us to know what the superstitions were, but I do think that as we go on in time, they're becoming less and less important. And culture is changing too. So
Yeah.
I know there's some that are just ingrained in us, like
Yes,
magpies and stuff. We're
they'll
just
never
going to probably
change.
continue doing
They'll
that
always
forever.
be there, yeah.
But like even between my generation and Jake's generation, like it's already kind of disappearing.
Good 50 years between the
A
two.
good
yes.
72 years. 72 is the number of the night.
Tina, what's your thoughts?
I think it's all superstitious. Load
Yeah,
of rubbish.
just a lot of superstition, is it?
No, mine very same as Bridget. I think, there's some ingrained in us, and they'll
Yeah.
be there. They'll go from, me, my parents to me, to my kids, to theirs. It'll
Yeah.
just,
Yeah.
and then some will burn out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Jack?
Yeah, I think it's as you both said, I think it's a belief based on probably fear.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
these things as a
Absolutely.
child. If you step on a crack, this is going to happen. If you break a mirror, this is going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you would worry about it as a child. So I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
it's embedded in you. Fear.
I think they're actually a bit of fun, to be honest.
Oh, brilliant,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I think it actually, someone goes, oh,
Yeah.
one magpie, and you're going, ha ha, one magpie. No, I
That's
think
a bit of excitement.
no, I think it is. Yeah, it's a bit of fun. It's a word I'm trying to look for. People take everything really serious nowadays, and if the same person walks under a ladder, oh, geez, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe that's the wrong analogy now, but I'm trying to get my message across. But yeah, they're interesting aspects, and I think it's just a part of what you're all were saying there.
Yeah.
We've all grown up with them.
Yeah.
And before we finish up, I just want to say, Bridget, again, thanks. All the research you done. You kept us
Yeah.
going for the
Yeah, absolutely.
like
I really
loads I
enjoyed it.
didn't even know about. So fair
Yeah.
play to you. You got very little notice
Yeah.
when you had suggested it. You weren't expecting for us
She-
all to land down on your
She
door
went through a
tonight.
packet of pens. A packet of pens
And
gone.
4 notebooks.
But she wasn't expecting us to land on our doorstep tonight. But this was brilliant, Bridget. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Yeah, it was a lot of
Thank you,
fun.
Very
guys.
knowledgeable.
It was a lot
Very
of fun.
knowledgeable.
Yeah, it was really enjoyable.
And so I will sign off. So from myself, Tina.
Bridget.
Jake.
And Chris, and remember, guys, stay spooky.
You have been listening to Paranormal Researchers Ireland podcast. Intro and outro music, Nothing to be Scared of by Kakuru. Main theme background music, Crawling by Hannah Ekstrom. Both intro, outro and main theme music sourced through the Epidemic Sound app. PRI podcast recorded and produced by Jake and edited and mixed by Bill using Adobe Audition. We hope you enjoyed our podcast, so why not join us for our very next Supernatural podcast coming very soon.